mile, at Cranford Parkway interchange, take the second exit onto the M4 slip road to Heathrow Airport, M25. Exit the roundabout onto the slip road. In a quarter of a mile, merge onto M4. In a quarter of a mile, keep right to stay on M4.
Daily commute was as quick as our broadband. Your journey to work would only take. Morning, Tracy. With our fastest ever broadband at 900 megabits per second, business is.
Keep right to stay on M4.
Business full fiber 900 for availability. BT means business.
At Free Now, we're best known for our taxis, but actually we're the mobility super app with more ways to get around. Travelling around London has never been easier.
£10 off each of your first 3 shops of £20 or more with the code ORGANIC. AvianCold.co.uk. Easy, organic, everything. Conditions apply.
Fever Tree Mediterranean Tonic Water. Made with zesty lemon thyme from a small family farm in Provence, and essential oils from herbs that grow in the Mediterranean sunshine. So, if 3/4 of your G&T is a Fever Tree tonic, maybe it's time to call it a T&G. Fever Tree, mix with the best. Wow, that takes me straight to the med.
With Pension B, you can combine, contribute and withdraw from your pension online. Our plans give Mary the freedom to contribute whenever her income allows.
So I've been self-employed for 4 years now. As a self-employed person, being able to make flexible contributions towards my pensions definitely helps.
In a quarter of a mile, keep right to stay on M4.
Be pension confident. Join at pensionb.com. When investing, your capital is at risk. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority.
Where are you from? Join me, Lily Almond, on my new podcast, Where You From, where I speak to big names about the intent behind that question. Listen and subscribe on Global Player.
Keep right to stay on M4.
LBC with Ben Kentish. 5:35 the time. We're asking whether West Ham defender Kurt Zouma will
Continue on M4 for 4 miles.
service for kicking and slapping his cat. Now, Polly's texted in. She says anyone who eats meat or fish is party to incredible cruelty in this country. Worse than the cat, there are no get-out clauses. No name on this text, but someone disagrees. They say farming is one thing, pets are another. Stop mixing them up. It just confuses the issue. Are they though? Are they that different? If the animal suffers, more on farm than Kurt Zouma's cat, then are we wrong to get so angry about what he did to it? I don't think we are, for the reasons I've said. This text says the thing with Zouma is he's just the same as Boris. He's only sorry because he got caught. We have no idea if this was a one-off. Any caught animal abuser should be banned from keeping animals for life. I could not agree more. If you are found and videoed abusing an animal in the way he did, why on earth should you have the right, should you have the privilege of ever owning a pet again? To ban him from keeping a cat for 5 years, unbelievable, offensive, a total travesty of justice in my view. We'll get back to this in just a moment. First, let's get an update on some business news today. Michael Wilson joins me now, business commentator and former business editor at Sky News. Michael, thanks for your time this evening. Oil prices are up again and we're preparing to hear from OPEC.
Well, we have actually already, and our oil prices are still above $100 a barrel, which is bad news. This is rather boring, but OPEC Plus, which is OPEC plus a number of other producers, met today, and they've chucked a bone at what's been going on. What they've done is they've said they're going to increase production by 648,000 barrels a day per month, as opposed to the normal 400,000 that they were doing. What that means is it's sort of stabilised the oil price slightly. The reason they've done it is they appear to be relatively annoyed with Russia, which is one of its members, which apparently is getting around some of the sanctions by selling off oil quite cheaply to discount the price that the other OPEC members are doing. They're selling it to Turkey. They think, we don't know this, but that's the rumour, Turkey, India and China. So in other words, we've been thrown a bone by OPEC Plus, which is not at all bad, given that everything is absolutely terrible these days. As far as the oil price is concerned, it is rather boring. It will not bring anything down. That's a different issue altogether. But the fact is that they have met and they have thrown a bone to the crisis.
And elsewhere, Meta, big news, Sheryl Sandberg stepping down. How significant is that, Michael?
Very, I think, because I think she did a superb job there. If you like this kind of thing, she's a standard bearer.
In 2 miles, at junction 6, take the A355 exit to Slough Central.
Develop her philanthropic work, but I think much more importantly than all that is the big changes at Facebook, which is now called Meta, or at least the parents are called Meta. What Facebook used to be was a fairly happy-go-lucky kind of social media thingy, which we all used to join in. Now, of course, it's much more than that. It's a huge company. It's in charge of the new oil, if you like, in charge of social, in charge of data, in charge of what you actually do. And with that kind of responsibility and that kind of power comes real grown-up kind of stuff, and Facebook's coming to terms with that. Not saying that Cheryl is not a grown-up. She most certainly is. But I think there's a big change happening there, and this is a company that's going to have to face an extraordinary amount of legal attacks on it and so on, because it's the size that it is.
Michael, thank you. Michael Wilson there, business commentator and former business editor at Sky News.
LBC Business Update.
With Direct Line Business Insurance. Straightforward insurance for your business. They're on it.
Just before we resume our conversation on Kurt Zuma and animal cruelty, let's get another update on the historic events taking place across the country today. It is, of course, the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. We've been bringing you updates throughout the day here on LBC, and our reporter Charlotte Lynch has been out and about in central London covering the pomp and pageantry.
And I was right in the middle of the Mall, surrounded by the crowd of tens of thousands of people as the Queen, Prince Charles, Camilla, Prince William and Kate, of course their children too, came out onto Buckingham Palace balcony to watch that spectacular military fly past. It's cliche, but it genuinely was a sea of red, white and blue. Everybody was waving their Union Jack flags, wearing red and white and blue hats. They were draped in the flag. Many of them had Her Majesty's face on, wishing her congratulations on 70 years. Everyone here celebrating her Platinum Jubilee.
And we got here about 8 o'clock this morning. We come up by...
In a quarter of a mile, at junction 6, take the A355 exit to Slough Central.
The Queen, really. So yeah, and it's great. Lovely atmosphere. I think after the last sort of 2 years, I think everyone's just like, let's celebrate, let's, recognise what an amazing lady we have for our Queen.
Now, lots of people
Exit at junction 6.
came here for the Golden Jubilee 20 years ago, the Diamond Jubilee 10 years ago, and of course all the events in between. It brings people together.
In a quarter of a mile, at the roundabout, take the third exit onto Tuns Lane, A355.
States, and 28-year-old Joel from North London. Now, they actually met at William and Kate's wedding more than 10 years ago. And have a listen to this. They formed an unlikely friendship, stayed in touch ever since, and they've reunited here at the Jubilee.
I came to William and Kate's wedding, just stand on the street, and then we made friends, and we thought we'd meet up again today.
So you've kept in touch ever since?
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
Yes, definitely. And what was it that drew you to each other and formed this friendship?
She's a laugh,
I don't know. When I met him, I didn't know if he was in high school or college, but he ended up going to St. Andrews, and here we are, and he's now family friends with us.
Amazing. So you've been friends now for over a decade.
It's weird, isn't it? Yeah. We had our sort of 10-year friendiversary. We did it over Zoom in last year.
During COVID.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
The Trooping the Colour took place just before the fly past, one of the standout events of the 4-day-long celebrations. But for the first time in the Queen's reign, Prince Charles, the Prince of Wales,
Exit the roundabout onto Tuns Lane.
saluted and inspected the troops of the Household Division on her behalf. He was joined by the Duke of Cambridge and Anne, the Princess Royal, all of them riding alongside each other on horseback. The Queen took a salute from the balcony of Buckingham Palace. Later, though, the Queen will make another appearance. She will lead the lighting of the principal Platinum Jubilee beacon from Windsor Castle.
In a quarter of a mile, slight left towards Sippenham Lane.
Cambridge, who will represent her in central London. More than 2,000 beacons will be lit in unison across the country and the Commonwealth. Tomorrow, there'll be a Thanksgiving service at St Paul's Cathedral. Buckingham Palace has said that Prince Andrew will no longer be able to attend after he tested positive for COVID. A palace spokesman said after undertaking a routine test, the Duke has tested positive for COVID and with regret will no longer be attending tomorrow's service. Now that would have been the first...
Slight left towards Sippenham Lane.
...in public as part of these celebrations. He did not appear on the balcony earlier after the Queen decided only working members of the royal family...
Continue for 1.5 miles.
Buckingham Palace says tested positive for COVID-19, so he will no longer be attending the service of Thanksgiving at St Paul's Cathedral. It's understood he has met with the Queen in the last few days.
Head northwest on Sippenham Lane towards Cranbourne Road. Continue for 1.5 miles.
Reporter Charlotte Lynch reporting from central London. Let's get back to our conversation about Kurt Zuma. Was it right that he only got 180 hours community service after pleading guilty to kicking and slapping his cat? Louise says, oh Ben, that's never a good start, is it? Oh Ben, animals about to be slaughtered know they're about to be slaughtered. They experience complete fear and terror. you really need to visit a few abattoirs and then see if you'll still happily eat their flesh. You're being very hypocritical. I'm willing to bet any animal about to die to feed a human would swap places with the poor but still living cat. Louise, not sure I'm that's keen to visit some abattoirs, and maybe I should, because I think you make a good point there, that these animals probably do suffer more than Kurt Zuma's cat, but I still think the motivation, the motive behind the suffering matters, and that there is, and it's brutal, but I'm going to say there is a purpose to those animals being killed, and the purpose is of course to feed us. Now we can get into the morality of that, and is it right for us to eat other animals? Why are we more important than them, and so on. But they are not killed. They are not, the pain is not inflicted on them. They don't suffer for no reason at all. Whereas Kurt Zuma's cat suffered because the man, the 27-year-old man, couldn't contain his temper and took it out on a vulnerable pet. And I do think there's a difference there. Let's bring in, no, let's not bring in Mustafa. We'll bring Mustafa in just a moment. Another text here says anyone keeping animals who abuses them should be banned for life. Totally agree with that. Totally agree. We'll speak to Mustafa in just a moment. We'll speak to Alan in Manchester. Time now though here on LBC 545.
LBC.
Got the tickets, Sergey? Yep. Now, what movie are we watch? Ooh, an adventure. Ah, where are we? Look at the cobwebs. Oh, I don't know. It's scary. Okay, stay close to me, and whatever you do, don't wake the dragon. Uh-oh. Nice dragon. Oh, Sergey, run!
Nick at your Tuesdays and Wednesdays with 2-for-1 cinema tickets when you switch to Compare the Market. With a qualifying product, 1 membership a year, participating cinemas Tuesday and Wednesday, 2 standard tickets only, cheapest free, T's and C's apply.
For the latest travel news, go to lbc.co.uk.
Do you have a vacancy to fill right now? Because right now, at Job Centre Plus, we have thousands of people ready to work for your business. Right now, across the country, our work coaches are helping thousands of employers connect with the people they need. So right now, you could be speaking to a named employer advisor and matching a candidate to one of your vacancies. Speed up your recruitment at gov.uk/way to work.
Did you know that Volkswagen have agreed to a payment of £193 million to affected diesel drivers in a first-of-its-kind UK settlement? At My Diesel Claim, we're handling claims against numerous vehicle manufacturers and represent over 600,000 drivers who have already started their claim. If you owned or leased a diesel vehicle between 2009 and 2020, you could be eligible for significant compensation. It's easy to sign up. Simply head to mydieselclaim.com and start your claim today.
If you want to change the world, all you need is less plastics in our oceans, less carbon in our skies, less chemicals on vegetables, less wildlife that dies. Get a carbon neutral shop delivered to your door with Able and Coal Organic. You get